So basically what I do is I run a 4+ program for 18 to 21-year-old special ed students. We focus primarily on life skills and work skills. So when kids transition to me, they we pretty much get rid of the academics and focus on how are you going to take care of yourself, how are you going to work, how are you going to live after high school. So the majority of my students will live in a group home setting, supported situation, or at home with their parents. I have kind of a mix of both. All of them, except for one, have graduated, do have some type of employment. Some of them volunteer, some of them have paid employment, some of them work independently, some work with the job coalition. It kind of depends on their skill level. Okay, so I've been teaching for 13 years. That's all.
What is that 18 to 21 and 4+ program? Is that?
That's what they're called in Iowa, a 4+ program. So it's kind of a, after high school. That's
Like 4 years of high school plus.
Yeah. So I'm sure most of you already know that, your children can be in school until they're 21, I go to school now. But I'm here because Henry's almost 3. My nephew, who will be a senior in high school this year, is on the autism spectrum. And my sister has some mental health issues, didn't graduate high school herself. When my nephew was diagnosed, she was pretty much tuned out to the IEP process and so on and so forth. And so I got involved from the time that Ben was really little because I realized that, well, I was a special ed teacher, but also because parents don't always know how to advocate for themselves, parents don't always know the law, parents don't always know that the IEP is about their child and not about what the school has or has to offer. So I want to make sure that parents are more aware of their rights, and I want to make sure that students' transition needs are being met. I figured I'd put this on here. I'm sure you guys all know your rights. Yes? Yeah. Okay. So the thing that's interesting about the parental rights and all that mumbo jumbo is that these are just kind of your basic overview rights. These are what the law says has to happen. But there are a lot of things that kind of in that gray area of maybe they're not written here, but ethically schools need to provide best practice, so on and so forth. So when we talk about some of these things, we talk about like the least restrictive environment, right? So is your student being placed where it's appropriate? Yeah.
So everything you're talking about, my daughter is 18, just turned 18.
Okay.
So everything you're talking about seems to be like the current IEP. You're saying that this also is now for the transition IEP into above 21, all these rights, or these rights go away at 21?
These are all rights through the school.
Right.
Okay, so these should start as soon as she had an IEP, at 3.
Which they had.
Yep.
I'm saying now, when she turns 21, this is all go away.
Some of these things, most of this applies to school, to the schools, but because it's under IDEA, and it's under ADA. Yep. You want to look at yeah, especially, exactly. So most of these, yes, these are all kind of like IDEA, so it's through like the Individual Disability Education Act. So they really just.
So once they turn 18, like as a parent, are you still eligible for the IEP team, even though your child's 18?
That's what we talk about, the age of majority. So when students turn 18, if you don't have guardianship, technically,
They can sign themselves out.
they can sign themselves out, they can say, Mom, you can't come, they can say all that stuff. Now, it gets real tricky there because, especially when you're dealing with maybe you're less, well, I kind of know this. A lot of kids are like, oh, I don't care, that's fine, you know, because it's not that big of a deal a lot of times. But when you have kids that maybe require a little bit more funding or a little bit more money or, you know, they're a little bit more, I would say harder to educate, but they just take more time and money to educate. It gets a little tricky there sometimes. That's why when Paul was talking about guardianship yesterday, it's so important to have those rights be with the parents, because I had a kid this year that just set himself out. And he wasn't, I should say, he wasn't one of my transition kids. I also run an alternative school, so he was an alternative school kid. But he just said, I don't want special ed stuff anymore. And I said, well, he's 19, so what can I do, you know? And I told the mom, I did a courtesy call, but I can't even talk to the mom at that point about his goals or his progress or anything unless he gives me permission. So that age of majority is a really important thing for kids to know. Most of, I don't know kind of where your children sit as far as their like severity or functioning level is, but okay.
Yeah, look at mine. It's just like moderate.
Okay.
Verbal, reading, like second grade level.
Okay. But your child can participate in IEP.
He hasn't. We're at a private school anyway, so we haven't really done this part yet.
Okay.
But we'll probably do a transition. So he's almost 13.
Okay.
And 14 is when, so I'm glad. Okay, we're all in the same area. So I'm looking a little bit as to what does a transition IEP look like? What are the kinds of goals I should ask for? We're like doing an apples right now, adaptive, functional, something, where it goes through like, I mean, literally, can they do every step of like getting some kind of vending machine?
Gotcha.
Do like,
Yep, so you're doing test analysis.
yeah. Okay, but it's like every aspect of daily living, cooking, personal care.
So,
and I don't know. I mean, there's so many zeros on it. I'm like, where do you prioritize? What do you start with? You know, do you have like, do we do the stuff at home? Like, what's the harder stuff for school to do? Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
so I think the hard part about starting a transition plan is really that you're 14 years old, and when you guys first start doing your transition plans and part of the IEP, it's going to be more of a narrative. Okay, so you're going to start talking about these things that your child can and can't do as related to life and living learning. So let me pull up. I actually have an IEP here. I have a parent who so graciously allowed me to use her child's IEP. She's a super parent advocate, so she's all about, ooh, that's really loud. If I can pull this up, I'm hoping I can.
So, Roger, when we're looking for that, so transition IEP is that whole, it's not like there's two IEPs then. It's just that after a certain age, it's always got transition.
Yeah, so a transition IEP versus a transition plan. So a transition IEP is an IEP for students who are going to be that age. And a transition IEP just has that extra part to it. So I'm sure that when your kids are younger, your IEPs were probably a little bit, they just really have those academic goals. And then we start having all of these different sections that talk about post-secondary expectations. There's lots of assessments about their needs, their strengths, preferences, and skills, and we also have to look at how all those relate to living, learning, and working. So everything now is not just academics and what's happening in the school. We have to take everything and say, how does that apply to living, learning, and working? So to answer your question about specific skills, we run into a lot with my students the money thing. I think that they really hammer, counting money and concepts of money. And what we found, especially with things changing in our world, if you're on food stamps, let's say, so a lot of our kids will be on like SSI and food stamps and so on and so forth when they move to a group home. Well, they're going to get a card. They're not going to have money. And So how much county money and county change how much time should I really spend with that skill development? So we really focus on more of like money concepts. Like, do I have enough to do this? So if something is $4.12, how much money should I give, or how much money do I need to have, type thing. But not really about county change. That's one of the ones in my side. It's like kids just spend so much time counting change back. Like, well, on a regular day, how much time do you spend with change or dollar bills? Not a lot in this card. We swipe everything. I really found that social skills are huge. Kids being able to just have a conversation with people out in the community, ask for help, self-advocacy, those types of things those go across every other skill that we have. They're great for work skills, they're good for living skills, they're going to go on to schooling and so on and so forth. So those are huge skills that we push. So this particular IEP, you guys already probably have gone through like the strengths, preferences, all that jazz, but I wanted to show when it gets down to, it's called the PLAF in Iowa. It's like present level of academic achievement and functional performance, I think. So we have to look at transition assessments and other information assessment essential for developing the IEP. So we have to have different sources there, and they all have to be like data or have to be research based. So we can do a student interview, we do a certain personal information sheet, and then independent living skills checklist. So I have to identify that there is a discrepancy between the student, gender, same age peers in the area of living. And then we just go through and I didn't get your name, and you were talking about Tina, about all the different goals that your child has. It almost seems like they're breaking it down into each, there's a goal of folding laundry, there's a goal of, washing dishes, drying dishes, whereas we kind of lump this all into one goal, if that makes sense. So, you guys can kind of read this. We talk about, she can do some of the things in order to live independently, but she's unable to do those things on her own or without some type of intervention. She can perform many household chores such as vacuuming, dusting, folding laundry, washing and drying dishes, putting away groceries, sweeping the floor at a very basic level. We talk about going to the grocery store. And so these are all things that we've done, taking the kids out to those places and watched and observed and done rubrics and checklists and collected data. So she can locate items, but she doesn't look very closely. So sometimes if she's getting green beans, we get low sodium green beans, Or maybe if we usually drink skim milk, then she gets 2%, instead. So that's kind of where she is. She doesn't really compare prices to determine which is less expensive. So we don't really know if she's able to follow the budget at this point. But she does know what money is. She can read a recipe, but she doesn't have the base knowledge to know all the kitchen terms and all the kitchen gadgets. She wants to help, but she wants ahead, so sometimes she grabs a pot off the stove before it's time and might be hot, or picks up a knife, so on and so forth. She doesn't drive, so she relies on others. She can do most of her own personal grooming, and she does some chores at home. She does not pay her own bills, but she'll most likely need support in order to do so in the future. I don't want to get too lengthy about this, but this is what each one of these sections should look like. Sometimes you have a little section that says, Susie has a discrepancy from her peers in the area of living. She does not have the skills to live on her own, and that's it.
Obviously, they didn't know assessment.
Well, or, they didn't want to tell you about it. So, and I'm not trying to say like, I write the greatest IEPs. I just simply want to show that it should be a narrative, and you should be able to get a good picture of what this child can and cannot do based on these sections, okay? Then if we look at, and we have them for learning and for working, but if we go down to the goal then, so then it kind of goes through that same stuff again, what her baseline, where she's currently functioning. Then we get her baseline, what her scores are on her checklist, and then we get the actual IEP goal. So when given a recipe, a kitchen, and a shopping trip. Student will shop for and prepare a meal. She will score 80% by providing the grocery shopping rubric scores and the cooking rubric scores. These rubrics measure the level of independence in the following areas: getting the cart basket, using a list to sell products, comparing prices, and getting out supplies while the rest of the so that one goal encompasses a ton of stuff, but the rubrics cover all those items too. But so the goal goes back to those assessments that we did, so they all kind of line up. And then when you look at services, and these don't scan very well, I apologize. Here we go. Yeah, so she'll participate in community experience that give her opportunities to learn about her community and how to navigate it. She'll have adult support while out in the community. They will include, but are not limited to, the grocery store, post office, fire station, parks, bowling alleys, movie theaters, and restaurants. So I think the important thing to think about with all that is that how everything has to link back together. So we identify where the student is functioning, what skills she has, what skills she doesn't have. Then we use that data to write a goal, and then we make sure that we have services and stuff to go back to that goal.
What if we don't? That's going to be my question. So we write a great IEP, transition IEP like this. It's not a little bit off topic of the subject of this today, but and we determine that there is no, like our board's going to live with us and go to a day program. There's no day program that can execute those goals. So then what happens?
So as far as a day program, usually unfortunately your day programs are usually data.
Right.
And so what we recommend, or what we try to do, is make sure that our parents and students are hooked up with places like Voc Rehab. You guys have vocational rehabilitation services. So in Iowa, it's IVRS, and is it NJA or VRS?
It's fine.
Yeah, every state has one, so they're.
Yeah, because it's a federal funded.
So,
So Voc Rehab is and we'll get to kind of the services linkages. We have to link to outside agencies too, because yes, once we're done with special ed services, it's kind of what next. And so there's some programs, like one is called Project Search, and that is kind of another, started in Ohio Children's Hospital, I believe. And they partner usually with a bigger business in the area and Voc Rehab. They partner with a bigger organization, and they do 6-week job exploration. So for us, it's at one of our hospitals in Cedar Rapids, and they have a classroom in the hospital. We do some job skills teaching, and then the kids all go out to different jobs, and then they rotate around. I think they do six in a year, so six-week job placements. So that would be an outside agency. But we want to make sure that we're connecting you, because let's say your child is not able to work, okay, and so day rehab is the best option. But if they're living maybe in an apartment type setting, the workers aren't always teaching as much as they're kind of doing it for. So you still want to have some of those services to be able to have people come in and still teach.
So can you get EDA services, for instance, for adult 21, 22, 23 years old?
What kind of services?
Applied behavioral analysis, their autism education.
I'm sure that would have to come through like waiver services.
But you couldn't put that in your transition application.
I mean, it could be, but it wouldn't be written as anything that would be like promise. It would just be what we would call like a linkage. So at the end of the IEP, we would write, that parents have connections to, or are getting ABA services through this company, or through, is it through your school?
Both. So we have home and service and school.
Okay. And so at 21, those services through the school end, and so you'll have to do them privately. But we try to make sure that that all those things are set up. One of the hardest things I can say is, and Paul and I were kind of talking about this morning, is when you have parents that are kind of reluctant to acknowledge that your child's going to graduate high school and be out of high school. Because it's, it's comfortable. It's, your school, and I can say this for Henry will be going to preschool this year as a 3-year-old. And there's kind of this weight lifted off of our shoulders because now all these therapists are going to be at school, and I don't have to schedule and drive and take off work to all these appointments. I'm going to be at school when he's at school. Wow, that's a huge relief, off my shoulders. And then to think in a few years I'm going to have to go back to doing it. It's like, it can be overwhelming, but what our job as special education teachers is to be able to identify what the plan is, help you guys make the plan, work on those skills to help your child be as independent as possible, and then kind of bridge that gap.
One thing that kind of follows with what Tony's bringing up is you can imagine, because you weren't showing us every bit, but there's something about, we'll live in an apartment with other people or live in a group home or something. Well, in order for that to work, you need to continue to practice social conversation, and then in order to get to that, you need ADA. I mean, that would be kind of a way you might play it out. And I would just say, I was thinking about this. In my experience, there are a lot of, this is a real issue, because there are lots of young adults who get in an apartment with somebody, and in theory, they should be able to do it, but they can't get along. I mean, and that can happen with graduate folks, right? So, I mean, it's not.
And they bounce around from place to place.
But it's because they're not practicing that social conversation concept anymore. It drops out when they get out of school, and so they kind of convert without practice of how to get along with somebody. And the parents try and help it, often parents just make it worse, right? There's a point at which parents are not really the right teachers for what you're trying to get done. Anyway,
No, and that's a super good point. We find, so our students in our program, we shop for our groceries, they cook their own meals, they set up the table, they clean up, they do all the cleaning, they do their own laundry, that's all done at our facility. One of the interesting things that we find is these kids are around parents or associates or whatever they're called in the district, and they're always going to be prompted, and these conversations are initiated for them. And so we have them sit down at lunch and we kind of step away and they're silent, And so sometimes we'll go, especially at the beginning of the year, okay, let's talk about this, And some of my kids that are on the spectrum are very rigid, and it's the same thing. What did you do last night? What are you having for dinner tonight? Same 3 questions every day. Other kids can be a little bit more flexible, but prompting them to have those conversations is a key, and that's where I went back to those social skills, those self-advocacy skills, because they'll sit in silence. If they go to a job, that's sad. That's sad that they would sit and sit in the break room and have lunch and not have a conversation with someone unless someone approached them. So yeah, we do prompt them to kind of do some of those things, or sometimes we push and it sounds weird, but it's not. But we just don't say anything. We don't say anything. We just kind of let them. And if you want to know something about me, you gotta ask me. Which can backfire because then you have the chatty Cathy's. They're like, "What are you doing?" Okay, I can't get any work done. But okay, so we talked about goals. We talked about activities. Oh, let's see what this kind of stuff is a little bit important to want to just talk about. So you're going to start talking about graduation requirements. We'll start adding those into the IEP. And then they're going to talk about course of study. Somehow, however it's written, in New Jersey and Pennsylvania, is that right? You can't just say that Henry will complete all the courses required by Malvern High School to graduate. You have to specifically say what courses are required, and then you have to say where is Henry in regards to that. And that has to be all written out. So for my students, which they've already met graduation requirements, let's see if I can navigate this again. Oh. Nope. Maybe. Nope, got it, okay. So if we go back up to this particular student, so here's her course of study. So she's earned all the credits to graduate from the school that she went to. She comes to us from a different school district. But so then we outline what she's gonna do to complete my program. So she's either turned 21, parents and students identity services, family student responsibility for a program. She's going, so she's has a transition plan in place for 3 out of 5 domains. She has linkages to adult services in place. She plateaus and determined by the IEP that she's not going to make any more progress, or she refuses to attend the program. And then we kind of go back through that. So what's her current status? Well, you know, she's met all those credits, so on and so forth. So again, I guess the reason I want to show people this is because I've seen so many poorly written IEPs that are like one-word answers. And so then we talk about courses and activities. So then I have to talk about exactly what she's going to do. Okay? So she has discrepancies in the areas of living, learning, and working. So she's going to continue to refine her skills in the work environment and daily living skills and community mobility. She's going to participate in opportunities that allow her to practice grocery shopping and preparation of meals. She's going to complete household chores at the center, and she's going to have opportunities to access recreational opportunities such as physical exercise, bowling, movies, and shopping. She's going to learn to access transportation as needed. She's going to do community-based vocational training where she will learn specific work skills as well as general work skills for a job. When she shows that she has a high level of independence, and when she's ready to go on the next step, she's going to exit the program. So even though this is very specific to the program that I teach, it should be something similar to this for your students. You know, it should outline. Sure. Oh God, I changed it anyway.
Graduation date was May 2021. May 21st.
Yeah, so that's when she will age out.
My daughter's birthday is May 31st.
Okay.
So May 31st, 2022, she ages out. So the school year goes.
How old is your daughter? Oh, she's 18.
So the school year goes to June.
It goes through the year, so she will finish the
Born
year.
on her birthday?
No.
Or does she finish the school year?
So this is, that target graduation day is the last day for seniors in our high school. We start,
Actually, for Rachel, this is now up, but they changed it. Her birthday's in August. And it used to be that if you got to the end of the year, when she turned 21, and the school year started on August 1st, and the school didn't really start with us when the year started. So at one point, that's how it, and said this yesterday, she should be in high school for 8 years. But then they flipped it and said, no, I don't remember, but she was out. You know, it was a year in which she turned 21 or something, and so somehow she didn't have that extra year, which then turned out fine at the end.
so one of my students that finished this year, he turned 21 in April. But he went till the end of the year. So we do till the end of the school year.
I would have October birthday.
Yeah, and it's in August.